Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Aso Morning. This beautiful day, you need to be up this rock. You would appreciate Abuja very much. It's wet, and you just have to visit to know what it is. It's a beautiful, splendid view this morning, and I stood out here just a couple of minutes ago and admired the city of Abuja this morning. And it's on that cheerful note that I welcome you to today's edition of the program. And I am saying to you, wet days are always going to come, but hold on for the sunny days. That's me giving you a proverb. I'm excited, and I'm sure you can feel it in my tone. As usual here on the show, we'll start with the newspaper review segment, and then we move to have a discussion, our interview segment, where we discuss today's International Youth Day. What does it entail? What do Nigerian youth stand for? How are they putting hands together to have this beautiful country that we love and contribute their expertise and skills and energies into molding the country of our dreams? That's the conversation we'll be having, and we'll have a guest who would do justice to that. But after that will be agriculture for today and tomorrow, and then we wrap things up. But look out for that interview. We are going to be talking to someone who is in the youth space, who represents a lot of young people across the country. Exciting time. So we'll get to that interview, but stay tuned. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, it will be time for the review. Stay with us. Welcome back from that very short break. It's time for the newspaper review segment this morning, and we will jumpstart this segment with the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. The Daily Sun has as its lead story here, it says ADC, EFCC fight over intimidation allegation. ADC, EFCC fight over intimidation allegation. And the riders to that story says claims anti-graft agency acting as APC's hit squad. APC's hit squad. That's the allegation towards the AFCC right now. The ADC is claiming that EFCC, or rather, here it did not mention names. The anti-graft agency is acting as APC's hit squad. We are not partisan. Commission is saying we are not partisan. Coalition leadership should first regularize position with INEC. APC is saying coalition leadership should first regularize position with INEC. APC is saying that. If you want to read details of that story, there seem to be back and forth, as there always is on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. We are talking about the back and forth and the anti-graft agency accused of what they term APC's hit squad. What could that possibly mean? Are they being intimidated? Are they being harassed? That story is on page 6 of the Daily Sun this morning. Moving away from that story, right beside the masthead this morning, it says unruly female passenger gets flight ban for life, docked, remanded in prison. Obi accuses airport authorities of double standards. Kwam 1 action amounts to terrorism in some nation, NCAA is saying. Kwam One action amounts to terrorism in some nation. I agree with the mixed, a lot of the opinions I've heard about that lady. If you go by the video we saw, it was obvious there was an altercation. She has also posted a video where she wanted to be out, but I think she was being detained so that the airport security could come pick her for her unruly behavior in the airport. There's no reason why we should be that unruly. We should behave with integrity. That's not to excuse the video before, where Kwam One was also who had to even dock because the pilot had to move. He was that holding the aircraft to ransom? I have no idea, but it's really unfortunate that we do not know how to comport ourselves within the country. But I bet my bottom dollar, like I always say, that if these weren't in Nigeria, if Nigerians are so humble when they leave the shores of this nation, they are so humble in the airports. No matter who, no matter what they do in Nigerian airports, immediately they get to Heathrow, immediately they get to whatever airport across the world, you see them stand in line patiently, sometimes even unfairly, but they're quiet. They stand in line. They don't talk rudely and all of that. So please, let's learn to learn to be act with integrity. That's the Nigerian spirit. And Obi has made it a political thing where, oh, he's talking about Kwam One, how he's bragging to do the president, and that's why he just got a couple of months suspension and all of that. But this person actually assaulted another human being. The lady assaulted, and the person has the right to also press charges. In fact, it wasn't just one person she assaulted. She was assaulting several individuals. If you follow the video, she was beating, she was slapping, she was, like I described to a friend some days ago, she was on a slapping spree. She was just slapping everyone. She was kicking and pushing. Even when airport security came, I do not want that kind of attention. So I would be like, don't touch me. I will move out. Do not touch me. I am going to cooperate. But no, she was hanging on to the curtains. She was kicking and screaming. It's only natural that because they really needed her out of the aircraft, it got as rowdy as that. It's unfortunate. Not to mention that in the whole struggle of it, she was stripped. Very unfortunate, really. I wish we had better rules as well, because the way it's being shared to whom it may concern, that also opens up another kettle of worm, where you say, where do we draw the line? Okay, with that, I move on to other stories here. DSS arraigns 5 for terrorism over or war church. EFCC grills detains ex-Sokoto governor Tambowal over alleged money. We had taken that story that broke yesterday evening, I think. Tambowal in EFCC custody or being questioned. These days we really need to be careful how we use these words interchangeably, because I saw a headline that said Tambowal arrested, and when you go to the details, he was invited and being heard. So until you get details, let's not go to town. Flood sweeps away 150 million Ikorodu fish farms. Lack of insurance. Okay, with the Daily Sun, I would have to call you out. The Daily Sun papers are often not complete. It's always I wish I could read all of that story, but that's it for the Daily Sun. We quickly move on now to the Daily Times newspaper this morning. The Daily Times has as its lead story, blind, physically challenged group cripple activity at Lagos airport. What that's in literature they will say that's a pun right there. Now it says blind, physically challenged group cripple activities at Lagos airport. physically challenged, meaning a lot of them are also crippled. So they, some of them are able to cripple activities. The use of words is just funny. Now, at the footer of the Daily Times newspaper, a week after Value Jet AON slams no flight ban on Ibom Air passenger. A week after Value Jet AON slams no flight ban on Ibom Air passenger. Withholding Raye's NYSC discharge certificate, vengeful action. Labour Party is saying that about the young lady who had spoken out about some time ago, speaking about the welfare of the welfare of core members and how they were suffering. And after that, I remember the back and forth, it became a huge scandal. The director of NYC called, she recorded the call, explained how she felt threatened, and now her certificate is being withheld, and Nigerians are asking, this is seemingly too much of a coincidence, but Nigeria, we should do better. 3 years later, federal government arraigns 5 suspects over 2022 terrorist attack on Ondo Catholic Church. 189 billion naira alleged fraud. EFCC grills former Sokoto governor Tambuwal. Okay, Tinubu congratulates NAFDAC for retaining WHO maturity level 3 status. I guess that's something to celebrate right there. Tuga applauds NIDCOM's strategic role in promoting Nigeria's 4D agenda. NIPCO to sustain downstream oil sector investment. And with that, we quickly move on now to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper here is talking about Value Jet Ibom Air incident. It's double standards. Justice must be fair, equal. Obi is saying justice must be fair, equal. Police arraign female passenger, court remands her in Kirikiri prison. Airline operators ban her from flying for life. Federal government to punish Ibom Air official who released passengers indecent video. I agree totally. There's no reason why that video should have gone without some sort of censorship. And that's why we've been talking about a regulation. We've been talking about a regulation that would cleanse our internet space. You can't just take a video. It didn't matter that it got rowdy and at some point the girl's dress was stripped and you posted it nonetheless. How mean can you really be? If it were you or your sibling, would you have done that? Please, let's be a bit more human in our engagement with others. Tambuwal in EFCC custody over 189 billion naira cash withdrawals. DSS arraigns 5 over the Owo Church. That happened in 2022. Remember that very unfortunate incident. Okay, moving on from that. Tinted permits. Police extend enforcement till October the 2nd. Nigeria's health sector funded 90% domestically, says minister. Okay, I read that again because it's unclear what it really means. Nigeria's health sector funded 90% domestically, says minister. Okay, that story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. I think that's in a bid to alienate itself from foreign grant. I have no idea. Okay, so moving on from that, okay, there's a picture here of Vice President Kashim Shettima signing the condolence register during his visit to the residence of late former Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Chief Audu Ogbe. That happened yesterday. Moving from that, FDA approves new eye drop that can fix far-sightedness without glasses. FDA approves new eye drop that can fix far-sightedness. Reform fatigue set in as a 16 trillion naira debt servicing erodes gain of fuel subsidy removal. That is really funny right there. Reform fatigue sets in as 16 trillion debt service erodes gains of fuel subsidy removal. That's coming from Analyst. I think is an editorial. You can pick the paper to learn more. It's on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Caution, optimism as INEC braces up for CVR exercise. Caution, optimism as INEC braces up for CVR exercise. Is exciting. Young people can now, those who have turned 18, can now take this opportunity to go register and get their INEC and get their INEC cards, and the CVR exercise is beginning. Remember, by-elections are also simultaneously going on in some states. With that, we quickly move on to the Daily Trust newspaper. The Daily Trust is taking us straight to Tambuwal's story. It says EFCC detains Tambuwal, invites ex-governor Emeka Ihedioha. A lot is going on. You can see. I wish it was the fonts weren't so tiny. I would have read an excerpt of that story to give you a background as to why Tambuwal is invited. But below the masthead of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, World Bank approves $300 million to support IDPs in northern Nigeria. World Bank approves $300 million to support IDPs in Nigeria. Okay. To know if that's a loan or a grant or some just support, you could go to page 17 of the Daily Trust newspaper to learn more about that. 5 months after federal government ban, another tanker explodes in Kaduna. 5 months after federal government ban, another tanker explodes in Kaduna. Wow, tanker explosions. Not we talk about tanker explosions because we see the casualties are often so much. However, these tankers on our roads, I don't know where to start, because we say this over and over. They cause accidents. We've recorded several accidents because a tanker is competing the road with other road users, not to mention what it does to the road infrastructure. I don't know if there are better ways we can start looking at to transport PMS and petroleum products. I am not I do not subscribe to this movement of fuel from one place to the other. How are other people doing it? And it seems so seamless, right? Boko Haram kills 3 soldiers, abducts schoolgirl in Borno. Again, we go about abduction of school children. We need to keep our schools safer, especially in the parts of the country where we are trying to improve participation or encourage children to go to school. When you see that and you're telling a parent to, oh, send your child to school, he's better off, and all you read in papers is how 3 children are abducted. We still have the Chibok girls and several others who over the years have been abducted. Not the trauma, not just the child, the family and all of that. We need to do more about our safe school initiatives, and that's the conversation we'll be having one of these days here on the platform. Another Katsina local government enters peace deal with bandits. Another Katsina local government enters peace deal with bandits. You want to know what the peace deal is about? It's on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And at the footer of the paper, we killed many bandits in Zamfara. Military is saying, we killed many bandits in Zamfara. Passenger remanded for assaulting airline staff. We've taken that story. UN media groups condemn journalist killing in Gaza. UN media groups condemn journalist killing in Gaza. That is absolutely unfortunate for some of us who depend on journalists to report what's going on in this of course volatile situations. It's unfortunate that the journalists have keep losing their lives, even though they should be protected, as they try to tell the world exactly what's going on. Well, it's really unfortunate when this happens at work. That's basically what it is. Well, still on the Daily Trust newspaper, UN media groups condemn journalist killing in Gaza. It's happening all over the world. It's not just in Gaza. But we move on now to the Nigerian News Direct newspaper. The Nigerian News Direct has its lead story here. 6 months ban on Quam 1 remains despite apology, NCAA is saying, as AON Ibom Air slam lifetime no-fly ban on passenger over in-flight assault. Moving away from that story, right at the footer of the newspaper, Airtel Money Africa partners Power Pay for seamless international remittances. Nigerians in diaspora are not just remitters, but investors in Nigeria's growth. That's coming from the minister. Visually impaired group protests 2-year school closure. Ground routes to Lagos Airport. Ground routes to Lagos Airport. Unfortunately, sometimes that's what it's necessary to spotlight issues you're facing in every sector, and it's unfortunate, very unfortunate, because if all of us in every sector have to at one point or the other ground movement here, protest here, how is that productive? Why won't those saddled with responsibilities to do what they have to do actually put an effort into doing their best instead of letting it? If a school, the visually impaired school or school for the special has been closed for 2 years, somebody should take responsibility for that. I don't see why it should be closed for 2 years and they haven't been. If it is structurally a problem, have you moved them? Have you communicated with them? Are there other ways you can reach these people instead of just abandoning them for 2 years? Very unfortunate. Indian refiners abandon Russia for Nigerian crude. Indian refiners abandon Russia for Nigerian crude. I don't have the details of it, but I've read that the Nigerian crude is better than any other crude in the world. I don't have evidence, or this is me just being patriotic, but yes, I can understand why you will go for the Nigerian crude, right? Ogun government seals OGD building, says senator yet to provide any valid documentation. Now to the National Star newspaper we go. Fight corruption, not opposition. ADC tells the EFCC. Fight corruption, not opposition. And absolutely, anti-graft agencies are there to fight corruption and not be used as tools to fight opposition. The ADC had termed it APC's hit squad, an unfortunate term, I must say. But as anti-graft agency detains ex-Sokoto Governor Tambuwal, accuses ex-rep speaker of 189 billion naira money laundering fraud, opposition alleges federal government clamped down on opponents of government. I don't think this statement is healthy for our democracy. It's unfortunate that the distrust in our governance and leadership makes us always make this statement. I want to see the kind of anti-graft exercises that is not misconstrued as political. I would expect that Tambuwal can explain the withdrawal of 189 billion naira. 89 billion naira, should the anti-graft agency not look into it? The question is, why now? Well, why not now? Why not now? It should even have been earlier, but why not now? And the EFCC really needs to do a lot in public enlightenment. So Nigerians need to believe. Nigerians need to know and trust that it is because investigations were ongoing and that nobody is witch hunting. Imagine the institutions that are kept to ensure peace and corruption-free Nigeria is characterized with distrust. You can understand it is not healthy for any nation, for citizens not even able to trust the anti-graft agencies. So this is quite concerning. It has to be addressed. However, we need to also stop the idea of, oh, you're going after my political opponent. Yaya Bello is APC, but he was still embarrassed. He was still gone. The EFCC still went after him. If you bring that up, you also hear stories like, oh, it's because he doesn't have a good standing with the presidency. Like, you never can win. But the EFCC too also has a very tough job of standing aloof from partisan politics and actually do its work, irrespective of whose horse is God. So we move on from that story. Right below the masthead of the National Star newspaper, World Bank grants World Bank grants $300 million loan to federal government to assist IDPs. Okay, it's coming out. That story is on page 14 to read about what it would entail. This loan that has been granted once again to Nigeria to assist IDPs. How is government going to spend it? Page 14 of the National Star has details of that story. 8 dead. Houses submerged as flood wreaks havoc in Ebonyi and Nasarawa State. We spoke about it here yesterday, where we talked about 15 states across Nigeria that are flashpoints for this flood, and the meteorological agency had announced. We also had mentioned the local governments that will be affected. We shouldn't always be waiting for emergency response, but we could do more in mitigation, which, by the way, is way cheaper. There's no reason why we should record 8 dead when the meteorological agency has been on our case to say this place is like this. There was no active evacuating of people before it happened. It was expected. It's unfortunate 8 people have died. Our condolences go to them and their families. It's double standard P2B fault handling of Ibom passengers arrest. Okay, we move on from that story. It says Nelfon distributes 86.3 billion naira to 449,000 students. Nelfon distributes 86.3 billion naira to 449 students. Benue, Kaduna, Kogi top as 1.9 million Nigerians jostle for paramilitary jobs. By the way, there's available jobs for just 30,000, and we have 1.9 million Nigerians jostle for those jobs. Leave our communities now, protesting Benue women tell soldiers. Leave our communities now, protesting Benue women tell soldiers. That story, details of it is on page 2 of the National Star newspaper right there. I'm unsure why the National Star, why Benue women who should appreciate the presence of military, isn't that what we kept saying? Let's have military, let's have soldiers stay in communities, protect these communities from the killer headers or known gunmen, bandits, terrorists, or whoever have been committing these atrocities. But you want to know why the community is screaming for soldiers to leave their community? That story is on page 2 of the National Star newspaper. Tinubu reconstitutes FCC board, reappoints Dankaka as chairman. Election duties, NYSC seek increased insurance package for core members. Southeast Monarch deny backing Anioma State creation. Southeast Monarch deny backing Anioma State creation. Okay. Rivers indigents sue Tinubu Ibas over LGA election. Rivers indigents sue Tinubu Ibas over local government area elections. Okay, that story is on page 11 of the National Star newspaper. I want to know why Rivers State indigents. It said indigents here, and I often find it a bit mischievous when papers use words like that. The indigent Sioux. Indigents mean the entire indigents. Is it a group? How did they come together to sue? Was there a written petition? How many people? Or was it one human being? It was a group of 5? Is it a political party? You want to know details of that? Go pick the National Star newspaper, page 11 of the paper has details of that. Now to the Punch newspaper. Panic in ADC as EFCC goes after key members. Panic in EFCC as in ADC rather, as EFCC goes after key members. EFCC grieves coalition member Tambuwal over 189 billion naira fraud, insist on probe. Key coalition members push back as anti-graft body summons 3 ex-governors. Anti-graft body summons 3 ex-governors. We have spoken about it. I'm hoping it is not a witch hunt against the coalition, but if they have questions to answer, by all means, like all Nigerians, they should be subjected to come answer those questions. Now, above the masthead of the Punch newspaper, it says federal government generates 5.21 trillion naira from oil sale in H1. Federal government generates 5.21 trillion naira from oil sale in H1. IG extends tinted glass permit enforcement to October 22nd October 2nd, 2nd of October, October 2nd. Okay, tinted glass permit enforcement has been extended to give individuals permission or rather an opportunity to either take out your tinted glasses or get a permit for it. Government wants 3,598 workers of dismissal, others fresh verification. Government wants 3,598 workers of dismissal, others fresh verification. That's on page 25 of the Punch newspaper. I want to know why the federal government is warning us as many as 3,598 workers and asking for new verification. Well, that's where the story is. At the footer of the Punch newspaper this morning, custom intercepts 10 billion naira worth of arms, expired drugs. Custom intercepts 10 billion naira worth of arms, expired drugs. Oh my goodness. 10 billion naira worth of arms. And if it just goes to show that if we put our acts together, we can actually fight back crime with the same vigor that crime is fighting back. 10 billion naira worth of arms and expired drugs. First of all, why bring in expired drugs? Is it a weapon? Is it an intentional weapon to distribute drugs that are expired? Why? I don't understand the reason for the expired drugs. And for the arms, I'm so happy that this number of arms was intercepted. Those who would have used it to perpetrate all sorts of crime will no longer have an opportunity to do that. Unfortunately, we also know and have heard even from our soldiers and the military that these people have really sophisticated arms. So I'm happy the custom is doing its best to ensure that this proliferation of arms do not get into our country. We mitigate the proliferation rather. And at the footer of the Punch newspaper this morning, 5-phase trial over 2022 Owo church terror attack. Remember that Ibom Air passenger remand ignites selective justice uproar. Ogun removes demolition seal as Daniel threatens Abiodun with lawsuit. Remember what we talked about, the demolition. It's going back and forth. You have not shown us documentation. We want to see documentation and all that. But we're going for a short break. I promised you an interview where we'll be discussing the International Youth Day, which is today, the 12th of August. When we return, we will bring you that interview. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of Aso Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, Aso Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
In the heart of our fields lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, We discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 9:30 a.m. Monday to Fridays on Aso TV, channel 392 DSTV, Star Times, channel 127, or YouTube live stream, GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greener solutions. Together, let's grow the future. In the heart of our fields,
Welcome back from that. Now, every year on the 12th of August, the world celebrates young people. As you already know, Africa has a vibrant population of young people. Nigeria having as many as, according to statistics, of course, the data available shows that we are over 60 or 70% of young people in Nigeria. But with these numbers and the energies that come with it, have we harnessed it to ensure that we contribute to good governance, contribute to the economy and the GDP? Have we set the record as to the image of Nigeria? What do we need to position the Nigerian young man, the Nigerian young woman, the young people in Nigeria to attain full potentials? That's the conversation we'll be having. And the theme for this year's celebration is local youth action for SDGs and beyond. We would also explore if that theme even is relatable to us, or what we need is different. To discuss all of this is Comrade Okore C. Okore, the National Executive President of the Nigerian Youth Organization. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, viewers.
So good to see you. It's been ages since you came grace us with your presence. But what do you think about the celebration this year, the International Youth Day celebration?
Thank you. For me, it has become a yearly event for the Nigerian youths, and it is a moment that the youth reflects on our activities, reflects on whom the youths are. Usually it is International Youth Week. It starts from 6th of August every year to 12th of August. And of course, 12th of August being today is the actual day for the celebration of International Youth Day. It's a global thing. And that is why Nigerian youths, we do join with our counterparts all over the world to mark this auspicious day of ours. And for us, the Nigeria Youth Organization, is a good thing. We have designed a couple of programs for the youths. Beginning from the 6th, we started with courtesy visits to some offices, including the NDLUE, where we discuss with them for areas of collaboration, for areas that we can engage with them so that we can even assist in trying to educate the youth on the need for us to see possibly if we can eradicate drug abuse in the country.
I think I saw that press statement that you released.
Yeah, not just a press statement, it was a courtesy call on them, and after that we come to terms on areas that the Nigerian youth, not just the Nigerian Youth Organization, can collaborate with the NDLEA to see if it could be possible to eradicate drug abuse, or at least to, you know, reduce it to the various minima. And of course, relating it with the activities of the International Youth Day for this year's theme, which is local youth action for sustainable development goals and beyond. And of course, everything I still believe revolves so much around us, you know, the youths. And when you talk about the youth, you also talk about security. And that is why we believe that the action starts from the local youth, because that is where the education, that is where the information should start. How can a local youth transform ideas into impacting in community development? How can they transform ideas into, being it in the area of education, being it in the area of community development, being it in the area of infrastructure, being it in the area of skill, you know, training and all that. So there is need for the local youth to transform ideas into action. And then how do you transform these ideas into action? You transform the ideas into action by beginning the action is by, okay, I'm a youth, I have the ideas that our community could, you know, get developed through skills. How do I do it? You begin to enroll yourself into trainings that can now help you to contribute your quota towards sustaining the development goals. So, and for us in Nigeria, it is not just for the youths.
Exactly.
There are some areas that we need the government to come in. The government, especially the government at the local area. As a local government chairman, what are you doing? Are you leaving the rest of the job for the governor? Are you leaving the rest of the job for the president? Let it start from the local. And therefore, if it's starting from the local, it means that there should even be a youth development center at the local areas.
Aren't they already?
They are not there. And that is what we have been advocating for.
I mean, in local government.
There are not youth development centers in the local government level. There are not even youth development centers at the state level. And even at the national level, there is no youth development center.
But what has this youth development center, when you propose youth development centers in local areas, which would, first of all, I want to know what the benefits would be. I do not think when I see women development centers across Nigeria, I mean, when I see it, I think it has defeated its purpose of a center, a hub where women can come develop skills. How many young women do you know who have passed through that in this 21st century? What are the facilities in this women development center? I'm talking about the templates we have at the moment. What kind of, how many young people go there and they see contemporary technologies that would even excite them enough to go through it? Is that another thing you are once again suggesting? Let
me tell you, I like Nigerian youth, very industrious set of people. If you engage us, what we need is proper engagement. That is what the Nigerian youth need. And how do you engage the youth? If you have this youth development center at the local government areas, that is where skill training will be done. That is where, because if you have it at the local areas, some of the things we end up doing, how many youths at the local area have access to television? Like to participate in this kind of program we are having now. Right. Yes, this conversation. How many youths have access to radio? But the local youth will have access to the youth development center because it is domiciled in their own area. If you can go there to get information, you can go there for training, you can go there to learn skills on this, on that. It is not all about people should channel all their energy to schooling. Exactly. After schooling, what next? If you go to these youth development centers, there could be training, there could be rehabilitation. A lot of things will go there. There could be rehabilitation where you will have people that can rehabilitate, because the first thing to do, assuming you are dealing with somebody who has already who is already into courtesy, for instance, the first is to let there be a rehabilitation for that person for a period of 2-3 months. Then you engage him in training, skill training, and therefore by so doing, you are now trying to impact directly into the lives of the local youth.
Right.
Now you have this youth development center also at the state level. And you are talking about that of the Women Development Center. It has really helped the women. If you see today, women are more organized than the youth.
But you have female youth.
Yes, of course, we have the female youth. But the female youth are the people we are advocating, that both the female youth and the male youth are the people we are advocating for the establishment of this youth development center for. Right. Not just at the local government, at the state level, and also at the national level. If we can have National Center for Women Development, why wouldn't we have National Center for Youth Development? Is it a very big thing for Nigeria to do?
Okay.
It is not a very big thing.
But beyond your, where have you applied or sent your petition, or who have you spoken with? What have you done basically as the National Executive President of the NYU to ensure that this proposal is heard? Let's have youth development, how do you call it, centers?
Yes.
Let's have facilities that would young people can come gain skills and learn so much that would inadvertently equip them, of course. What have you been doing to push forward this narrative?
Thank you. We have, right from the time I was even the National Vice President of Nigeria Youth Organization for Southeast. So
right.
that was under the administration of late President Muhammadu Buhari. Yes. We wrote to him, and we clamored for even the federal government of Nigeria to have set aside a day for the celebration of the youth. And that is why we now have November 1st for celebration of National Youth Day, Nigeria National Youth Day. And coming to talk about your question, I have written to the President of the Senate directly, requesting that they should make law for the establishment of, number one, National Youth Development Commission, and also for the federal government of Nigeria to build National Youth Center. We did that same thing to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. We have also written directly to the President, asking him to send executive bill to the National Assembly for them to make law for the establishment of the National Youth Development Commission, and for him, the President, also build National Center for Youth Development, because this National Youth Development Center will help the youths. Like a day like this is an International Youth Day. We're supposed to have a converging ground. When you talk about a program like this, let it be that the youths are already gathered by this time at the
Eagle Square, for instance.
Yes, it shouldn't be Eagle Square.
Stadium.
We should have our own center. We should have our own center.
What happened to the youth commission that was being proposed at some point?
We have not had anything from the government.
Okay. Now,
even when the government acknowledged, they wrote, that was the government of late President Muhammadu Buhari. They wrote to us and they acknowledged our letter and said they were going to do something. But along the line, nothing happened. We are still following it up. And we believe that commission will help to address the needs of the youth. We also, of course, acknowledge the effort of the Honorable Minister. Of course, I can say he's youthful and he's very, very hardworking. But, you know, having another commission that has to do with the affairs of the youth, because this commission, we have 37 commissioners. One commissioner that will represent each state, and of course one that will represent the FCT.
But do we need all this? Do you think that's what we actually need to tackle the problems that youth face? Because it's not rocket science. The minister, I'm sure, is inundated every time with what the youth face. I don't think the solutions are out of this world. I, for one, align very much with your suggestion of a national youth center. Would it not be duplicating activities if we have a Ministry of Youth and we have commissioners again, or commission for youth? Every state has got its own commissioner for youth and all of that. Won't it be duplicating? Can't we work with
we have Southeast Development Commission, Northeast Development Commission, Niger Delta Development Commission, and the youth we are just asking for one commission. That we have 37 commissioners that will give us will show us that the youths are now involved in governance. It's not too big for the youths. If the government can spend on this and spend on that, this is just a commission that addresses the issue of the youth. So that if you are a youth and you are traumatized by whatever means, you know where your complaint is going to.
Okay. So let's say the conversation to the SDGs. It's not news that when it comes to SDG performance in Nigeria, we are still struggling. Although we have gotten better, we used to rank as low as 160 over 166 in ranking, but we have moved up to 146 over 166. A lot of young people don't even know what the SDGs are. Some who have an idea think we're still within the Millennium Development Goals. And we have just 6 years to the end of SDGs. And again, we're having a theme here that's saying localizing actions and impact towards SDGs and beyond. And you ask yourself, these are youths that don't even know. So what are you doing to position young people in what they are doing, in their activism, in their initiatives, in their programs, to align with the tenets of the SDGs?
I think the first thing that the government need to do, and even on their own part, before we talk about our own part, is that when a team like this comes, because we believe this team will run till next year, what we believe the government should do is a kind of, first of all, come up with awareness, set up a committee that will embark on awareness campaign, so that the youth will first of all understand what the team is all about. And then if you understand what the team is all about, then the youth can now even know their areas of involvement when you talk about local actions of local youth and beyond
exactly.
in sustainable development goals. And therefore, if you start this campaign, and even if you cannot go around the 36 states of the Federation, I'm sure part of the papers we are sending to the Honorable Minister is for, let there be an engagement for the youth across the 6 geopolitical zones. Let there be, first of all, public enlightenment campaign on this, so that the youth could, first of all, understand what this is all about. And then they will now know their involvement. If it becomes possible, the minister should even come up with a focal person who will lead this campaign, because it is something that should be community driven. When you are done with that public enlightenment campaign at the various geopolitical zones, there comes in the state commissioners for youth. They will now take it up from the state commissioners of youth to go down to the supervisors for youth at the local level, because it is a campaign that, first of all, you have to take to the doorstep of the local youth. Let them get involved. Let them have the information. And then it's only when you have information, like I said earlier, what we are discussing here, apart from it may be transmitted to the social media, how many of Nigerian youth have access? What about the youth that are not using Android phones? What about the youth that do not even have access to electricity? So how do you even access the television? How do you have the information? So it is a campaign that should be, community driven. And for it to be community driven, I believe the local government areas must get involved. Right. The traditional institutions must get involved, because these are where the local youths are.
So my question,
then, as an organization,
okay, we
have our structures across the 36 states of the Federation, in all the local government areas of Nigeria. And of course, we have, after today, we will formally unveil our program for this team. And after the unveiling, the state chairman will have to drive the campaign
down
to the local government area. Then the local government area coordinators of the Nigeria Youth Organization will now drive the campaign down to the local youths. Because if the local youths are not adequately informed, I don't think that we will make anything out of it.
And it's unfortunate that when we talk of SDGs, we have less than 4 years. That's as an agenda SDG 2030. This is already 2025. In less than 5 years, it will come to expiration. But while you are doing your work and initiative, how would you rate this government's performance when it comes to youth receptivity? How have they addressed your issues? Because the government has been saying so much. They came with the stance of we are here for the youth. I remember the government had also at some point announced a youth confederation, a confab, that we saw the inauguration of some committees, but it seems slower than we had thought. What would you rate this government? And I expect that you will be completely frank about what this government is doing to address youth challenges.
Okay, first of all, there is the action of the president that I want to very highly commend. And then that action of the president is the recent honor that he gave to the Nigerian female football team.
Right.
Yes, there is no other way to inspire the youth, apart from that way, because I earlier made a press statement calling on the president that when it was last Democracy Day that he honored some distinguished Nigerians, that he did not include the youth. But immediately the president, gave that national honor of OON to the victorious female football team of our dear country, and also the D Tigress. I have to commend that effort of the president. And as of the youth confab you talked about, yes, I know that plans are underway, and nothing good comes easy. Even though that, like I said, we still want the government to be more proactive when it comes to youth development. Of course, the minister is doing very well, but let me seize this opportunity to make a call on the lady that the young Nigerian youth, the female copper, that her discharge certificate is being withheld. They should immediately release it.
Right.
They should immediately release it, because she's a youth, and of course she has her right to express her opinion on however she feel about the administration. It is not wrong for someone to even say, this is how I feel. If you say this is how you feel, you're actually trying to help the government to, look at this area. I think it's becoming critical and you need to address it. So I am calling on the NYSC to immediately release her discharge certificate. And for me, the youths are like the celebrated Oliver Twist, who we always ask for more benevolence. We are asking for more proactive action from the part of the president when it comes to youth development. We want to feel the change. We want to feel his action. We want to see him coming on a roundtable discussion. It is not bad that one day Mr. President said, okay, I want to invite the youth on a roundtable discussion. How do you do it? You engage community leaders. Invite community youth leaders at the community level. That's why I say that this youth confab should not just be a paperwork. It should be something that should even be, if possible, let us bring it down to every state, have your own, then before we now come up at the national level to say this is the collective decision about the youth. And therefore it is good that the ministry becomes more proactive. I know a lot of things are on ground to ensure that that confab becomes a very good one, but it should be more proactive so that you should be more engaged and involved in that planning and arrangement. I believe it's going to be a good one.
Okay, so Nigerian youth are looking at you, watching you right now, and asking, what do you expect of us now? Now that we are celebrating this International Youth Day, youth across the world are coming together to once again reiterate the challenges they face and celebrate themselves for who they have been. But speak to your people and tell them, encourage them if you may.
Fellow Nigerian youths, I want to tell you that I have so much confidence in you. And as we gear up to 2027 general election, get involved. Get involved. Ensure you are involved, because your involvement will help to reshape the democracy of Nigeria. Your involvement will help to bring about good governance in Nigeria. Do not say it is a business as usual. Now that there is a voter registration exercise ongoing, please ensure, if you are up to 18 years, ensure you have your voter's card so that you can get adequately involved. You cannot criticize government when you do not participate in a electioneering period. So you must get involved. And for those who are into social media contents and all that, please engage on meaningful social media content that can bring about good governance, that can bring about youth development, that can bring about even help to support the security of our dear nation. Our dear nation, we are facing serious security challenges, and I believe the youth should get involved. Get involved, help the society, to our dear country, to ensure that it's effective policing. The youth can help to police the society by ensuring that if you see something, you say something. I want to wish all of us a very blissful celebration of our day, being the International Youth Day. Congratulations to all Nigerian youths.
Thank you so much for that. We've been discussing local youth action for SDGs and beyond with Comrade Okore C. Okore, National Executive President of the NYO. Thank you again for being part of the show.
It's my pleasure, Joy.
And this is where we end today's edition of Aso Morning. As usual, we've had a wonderful conversation discussing the Nigerian youth, what you too can do to contribute to the betterment of Nigeria. My name is Dr. Joy Asonye, thanking you for being part of the show. Until next time, have yourself a productive day.